Oh, people at home, don't you dare be sour. Clap for your 64-bit legends and feel the power.
Legend of the game, like GoldenEye, I'm more than right. The perfect dark is dreams that seem to come to light. 64-bit, the shit, it's as real as it gets. We can talk sports, games, and music, take your pick. Point with the news, pull up and crack a brew. Smoke one with the crew, tune in and take a view. We here to raise the bar from the lowest mark. Sit your ass down and listen, it's time for the show to start.
That was probably one of the most powerful intros we've ever had. That was intense.
It was intense.
It fucking. I think I may have lost feeling in my right arm. That may have given me a stroke. That was so powerful.
I didn't know Big E was in the house.
I know. I'm used to his old intro, like Big E Langston.
Well, welcome to another episode of 64-Bit Legends. I am Bobby Caboose. As always, looking for that hot tag is Melvin Troy.
Hot tag.
What's
hot
up,
tag.
Mel?
Oh my God. So much has been up. So much has been up.
We've had a busy week. I mean,
it's been a crazy week. I'm sure people may have noticed. Some people may have noticed that there wasn't an episode last week.
Yeah, we had a week hiatus.
It was a little bit of a hiatus. Now, you may be saying to yourself, you may have been asking this question to yourself as you were checking your podcast feed, like, where the fuck is this episode? And but the thing is there was a quick and easy remedy to at least fill the void during that time. That we were missing an episode.
And what would that remedy be?
That remedy would have been if you would have went to twitch.tv/Melvin Troy and would have watched me stream for 5 days in a row, marathon.
I was going to say the 5-day marathon.
5-day marathon. Oh my God. It was today was the first day that I've went a 12-hour period without having to talk at all. And well, here we are again. I'm just a workhorse.
If you were missing me, then too fucking bad because I don't give a shit. I just wasn't doing anything. There was football on last week. I got to watch the Lions lose in Lions fashion, and but I won some money on them. So
there we go.
Go
Nice.
Bears! Thank you for Mitchell Trubisky fourth quarter comeback. I appreciate that.
But yeah, it was a hell of a week. I learned a lot. We everybody that was in the Twitch chat, we all bonded. We I kind of pushed myself to the brink of sanity. When you're 25 hours, just 25 hours. So the hour we missed, has been made up. Go there, just pick an hour out of the 25 that I did last week, and there you go. I mean, you'll be
that's like a part-time job.
It is. It's very much like a part-time job. Now, at the end of the day, that's not normal. So if you're not going on Twitch, usually it's 3 days a week,
right?
But I kicked it up. I say we. I did it. It's like the team. Yeah, there's a whole. I got this production team behind me.
I got this big team behind me. You know.
No, myself. But go there on a regular basis, and actually, you should be going there because there may be more crossover between this podcast and that Twitch stream in the very near future.
We may be teaming up soon.
There might be a little bit of a team up. I'm just saying. So get in on that shit now.
This is like Hogan and Macho Man, doing the intense shake to bring the mega powers together.
Yeah.
To take down Zeus.
Yeah, and also one of the things that got accomplished last week is finally the podcast is now available on YouTube. We finally did it.
About fucking time.
Like now it's just the audio. We don't have the video.
Yeah, we got an audio wave, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. That's all you need.
That's all you want. But you know what? Sometimes you're on your work computer. You can't get connected to the Wi-Fi through your phone to listen to your own podcast.
Not safe for work.
Yeah. Go to YouTube and you can listen there just as convenient. Just subscribe there and it'll be amongst your feeds. Also, though, make sure to subscribe there because there may be some other videos that'll be popping up there in the near future as well.
If you like what you hear, if you don't like what you hear, comment and, maybe we'll read your comment on air and tell you to fuck off or be like, thanks. We appreciate the support.
Yeah, that too. So it's 64-bit Legends. On YouTube. It's very simple.
Very simple.
Not that hard.
It's not 8-bit. It's not 32-bit. It's 64-bit Legends.
Yes, 64. The best amount of bits.
We each bring about 32 bits to the table.
It's about right. It's
about right. We're you know we're like that that original PlayStation.
Yeah, it's as if you take a PlayStation and a Sega Saturn and mash them together.
Or 4 Sega Genesis.
Yes, you could do 4 of those
Yes.
as well. Yes, put those together, or take 2 Sega Genesis, put the 32X component attachment on there, and then there you go.
Or you can take 4 of those nuggets and shove them up your ass.
Yes, I just want to.
Junior bacon cheese.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jack Black. But with the popularity of our last episode, the softball Karens,
Yes, we got some updates.
we have an update.
I want to know where the fuck we're at. So let's just a quick recap from what I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong. You were suspended.
I'm suspended.
Suspended. You were canceled.
Yes.
By a bunch of these middle-aged men, aka softball Karens, or softball Darrens, as I dare say.
Softball Chads, maybe. I know Chad is a popular one.
No, Chad's more of like an alpha male. Though.
Yeah, okay.
These
All
are
right.
not alpha male types.
They're wannabe Chads.
Yeah, they're wannabe Chads. So apparently they didn't like the fact that your team was doing well. They said that your team was using an illegal bat.
Correct.
But the bat was never tested.
It was never tested.
It was never tested, and they just whined and bitched and moaned on Facebook until the owner of the league said, "Hey, you're suspended." Essentially.
Yep. So here's a little bit of an update. Last week, my team played for the first time without me, and my buddy's girlfriend, who's also my friend, she started listening to the show. So shout out to Caitlin.
Oh, nice.
She actually spoke on my behalf, kind of without. I guess without my consent, but I'm cool with it because I know she's got my back, right?
Yeah.
So the head of the league was at the games. We all knew he would be there.
Right.
So he was there, and she goes up to him, and she asks, she actually presents the bat to him.
Oh,
and
really?
She goes, "Hey, here's the bat that we used. I want you to test it." So he looks at her, and he's like, "I'm not going to test that bat." And she goes, "Well, why not?" And he goes, "Well, I know it was tampered with." So she goes, "Well, what is your what is your definition of tampered with? Like, tell me what you mean, like when you say we tamper with the bat."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'm not sure what you guys did, but it's not like we got it from the factory and we just used it, because there's no writing on it." So if anyone has played softball out there and used a bat significantly for 3-4 years, that writing is probably going to be coming off, because every hit, it
just rubs it off.
Yeah, the bat takes a toll.
Yeah, you got to repaint the road sometimes with the median lines.
Correct.
And what the fuck?
It's got the proper sticker on there, clear as day. He refused to test it. The tape was on there. Well, the tape from this year, because I think I mentioned it last week, that when they test the bats at the beginning of the year, they will put a certain color tape around the handle, right? So the color for this year's tape was taken off by the guy when they took the bat out of the game.
Right.
So, but it did have last year's color and the year before. Now, riddle me this.
All right.
I'm
ready.
Would we really, do you think we would match that color tape every single year? We go buy our own tape to match the tape. That's what they're accusing us of.
But
so we're gonna spend, not that tape's expensive. We're gonna spend, up to $5 to match a fucking, and go through the trouble and try to cheat our way when nobody on my team gives 2 fucks about slow pitch fucking men's Wednesday night beer league softball.
But what really gets me out of the whole thing is that's absurd. First and foremost, I agree that it would be an absurd thing to do, to fucking try to win at men's league softball
For a $50 gift card.
Yeah. But the other thing that gets me is,
or a t-shirt.
This whole thing could be put to bed by just testing it.
Correct.
All you'd have to do is test it, because here's the other problem that this owner's gonna come across with this whole scenario, is that these softball Karens, as I'll call them, they're going to eventually just be running the league, because now he looks like a soft individual. He's got a soft touch. They can run roughshod all over him. As long as they cry loud enough, He's going to have to kowtow to their whims.
Correct. And we've been in this league for at least 5 years. We've never had an issue. We've never had a concern. We never had a complaint. This team that claims that we are using an illegal bat has already got one team kicked out of the league because they were too good. Yeah. So going back to Wednesday, Caitlin, went up to the head of the league and she goes, I need to talk to you about this whole issue.
Okay.
And he goes, okay, go ahead. So she presented the bat. She goes, here's the bat. I'd like it tested. Our team is very disappointed on how this whole thing has gone down and how you have handled it. She goes, this is probably the worst way it could have been handled possibly because you never took our side of the story. And so his response was, Bobby can always call me on my cell phone. He's got my number. And I go, in my defense, Caitlin goes, well, last time you guys talked on the phone, it didn't really go in Bobby's favor. You wouldn't let him get a word in. And his response was, I was having a bad day that day. Oh. This is not my only job. Oh, so she said, she goes, well, why didn't you take like 24 hours to think about it before you called him?
Yeah.
No response.
Yeah.
So she also told me this entire time he's trying to interrupt her. And she goes, no. She's like, I came to you with a question and a concern. She's like, it is my floor and you'll have to listen to me until I am done.
Nice.
And I was like, damn, like, she's got my fucking back.
She's like the Johnny Cochran of softball.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Like, you give me the evidence, dude. Like, give me the fucking evidence.
Hey, if the bat does not fit, you must have quit.
Yeah. If you don't test the bat, you're a fag. I don't know. But anyway, so he wouldn't fucking test it. He kept interrupting her. He said his decisions are final because we were trying to appeal it.
Right.
Not to, I'm a pretty good player. Like I don't want to, tap my,
Yeah.
I can't think of the words right now.
Pat your own back.
Pat my own back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say jerk myself off.
You don't want to do that either.
So I need some help with that. Anyway, so that is the update. For the most part, so he refuses the test. Okay. He refuses to hear any appeal. He's wondering why I'm not calling him and someone else is defending me. And she goes, dude, the last time you talked to him, like, you didn't even let him speak. Like, what's the point of him calling you? Like, he don't want to talk to you.
Well, so I just don't understand why he's digging his heels in on this situation. And really, at the end of the day, all he has to do is test it.
Right.
All he has to is it. Okay, let me ask this question because maybe I'm just ignorant on the subject. Is it expensive to test a bat?
No. Okay. They have like the equipment right there.
So if all they have to do is test the fucking bat, and then they could say, well, this is not an illegal bat, so the claim is now. But here's the problem with that, and maybe this is why he doesn't want to do it because it sounds like he's kowtowed to this shitty Karen team long enough that may unleash a tsunami of people with a bunch of grievances now about like, wait a minute, well now you finally test this bat, and then now you got to tell them no. But what about me? I got kicked out of the league. Or what about word gets around this little community.
See, my thing is I'm thinking he doesn't want to test the bat because he doesn't want to be proven wrong.
Or there's that too, just as ego.
I think he's like if he tests it, it's gonna come back legal. And, I've had multiple people, like I mentioned Drew last episode, he's a softball guy, man. He knows his shit. He's a good dude. And he was like, dude, he's probably been testing on the wrong level this entire time.
Yeah.
If he tests it at all. Right. So I guess there's been problems with that in the past.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, man, like, and he said he went easy on us.
Went easy.
I'm like, man,
how do you go easy on it when you're not even going to try to test to see if the accused party's guilty?
Right. And he kept asking Caitlin. He goes, is Bobby the owner of the bat? And she goes, no. She goes, it's a team bat. Like, I'm not giving you up the owner either. He keeps trying to get to who owns the bat.
Yeah, but what difference does it make on who owns it if you're not going to test the fucking thing? If you're not gonna, it's like if a cop pulled you over, found you had a loose bag of flour in the back seat, and he's like, "Well, that looks like cocaine. That could be whose cocaine is that?" And he's like, "Well, it's
I was baking.
Yeah, I was.
No, you weren't.
I was baking. Well, who bought that? Who bought that cocaine for you to quote unquote bake with? Well, I'm not telling you that because maybe you don't want to get your grandma involved. And the next thing they're like, well, now we're gonna arrest you because of cocaine. You're like, well, why don't you test it and find out it's not cocaine? Nope, I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. It looks like it. That's all that matters to you, unless you want to tell me who bought that bag of white powder that may or may not be cocaine. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't get it, man. And
if I was you, now I understand. I think we talked about last time of like there's a limited amount of different types of leagues like this for the distance for everybody to have to get there.
Correct.
And logistically, like, but if I was you, otherwise, if it wasn't for that, I would just be like, well, fuck this league.
right.
Fuck this. Why even deal with this?
That's my thoughts exactly, but I'm kind of tied to it because of the location.
Right. Right.
And it's cheaper than a lot of the leagues, you know.
Yeah.
And like
Maybe
I said,
there's a reason though. You get what you
right.
pay for.
Yeah, that is, you know,
what you pay for.
That's true, but I mean, we've never had an issue before, like I said, and I told him on the phone, you know, this is probably recapping a little bit, but I told him on the phone, I was like, we've been in the league for how many years? We've never had an issue. Like, I actually, you know, I would talk to him in passing, you know, I'm like, nobody on our team gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like it's one day a week, so we can hang out as a group and go to the bar after and get drunk.
Yeah.
And it breaks up the week. Come on, man.
I guess it's just whatever this other fucking team is. I'm assuming this other team, the Karen team, has some sort of connections to like the subculture or the subgroup of the leagues themselves. I'm sure they're part of other leagues.
Yeah, because for some reason they got him in their back pocket.
Yeah,
and I don't get it, and I don't know what ties they have to whatever.
It's like a union of league owners
Right.
for male softball. Like they all talk amongst
It's
each other.
the co-op.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
is. It's like
the softball co-op.
It's the Prop Joe fucking softball co-op.
So that's the update. You know,
fuck
I'll be
that.
back in 3 weeks
All
or
right.
4 weeks. The 4th week I'll be back, but
It's just so dumb.
But he didn't want to hear any appeal. I was like, or like anything that we had to say. Like it was, and according to our pitcher, he completely avoided our diamond the entire night. Anyway, he just stayed in this little hut that's on the other diamond.
Oh, you had to play that team?
No,
the Karen
no,
team?
no.
Oh, okay.
They played somebody else.
Okay.
We actually, I don't think we played the Karen team until I come back.
Oh,
so that should be
wait.
interesting.
That ought to be very interesting. Now,
Because I'm gonna definitely thank them for the 4-week vacation. You can
Yeah.
bet on that, and I might tell them to suck my dick.
I think that's very very kind.
I might get kicked out that game just for my mouth.
Fuck it. Who cares? Who cares?
So-
what's the worst that's gonna happen? Oh, you get suspended again?
You're right.
Oh boy, it's like being in school. Like if you got the oh wait, you're gonna give me an in-school suspension? So wait, I gotta go to school still, but I just get
Sit in a room.
sit in a room. Ooh, you got me good there. Now, oh, you mean I'm not gonna be able to play another couple weeks at the end of the season? By the way, doesn't the season end in like November?
So when I get back, I get one regular season week and then the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I get to
it's-
play 2 weeks.
Okay, so you got 2 weeks to play. What are they gonna fucking do? Fuck them.
All right.
I'd say fuck them.
So on to the next year.
God. Well, that's good to know. You keep us posted.
I will keep you posted if anything else happens. But I knew he was going to be there, and I'm shout out to Caitlin because again,
Yes,
she
very
spoke on
much
my
so.
behalf, and from what her and our pitcher Justin, shout out to him because they're dating and whatever.
Oh,
But
nice.
anyway,
It's adorable.
it is adorable. But from both of what they told me, they had my back. They had the team's back. I appreciate that and everything else. So
No, all
that's
right.
pretty much the update on the softball Karen since it was such a popular episode last
It's
week.
been. I heard
or
it was
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean it's been popping. It's been popping off. I checked the analytics. There was a little surge even though we were off. So
Yeah. But speaking of the softball Karen
Yes.
episode, so the softball Karen episode wasn't just softball, right?
Yeah.
So you had this gripe against me. Because I happened to be watching Step by Step, which you told me that someone in the stream was trying,
Yeah, they were trying to goat me into talking about my opinion on Step
They were
by
trolling you about Step by Step
Yeah.
because it's so fucking awesome.
No, it's not. I think the amount of time that you've spent, you could have gone and made something magnificent with your hands. You could have like crafted a house or a fucking. You could have.
I could also play Cat's Cradle and jerked off.
Which would have been a much better use of your time.
Whatever,
than sitting there watching that terrible show.
It's not like I can't Cat's Cradle and jerk off while watching Step by Step. So anyway, for those have been listening to the podcast, obviously Melvin Troy and I live together.
Yes.
So here is my gripe against you, since you want to call me out in front of the world. I mean, I don't know if we're that global, but we're in the world. Yeah. You want to call me out for fucking watching Step by Step in my free time.
Okay.
Well, okay, so we've been living together for quite a few years.
Yeah.
And we never have an issue of buying stuff that are around the house that we need, whether it's paper towel or soap or whatever. We never nickel and dime each other, right?
Yeah, it's just you get it when you need to get it. Like even when the quarantine happened, I remember I was like, all right, I'm making sure we have things to wipe our ass with,
right.
and we can paper towels. I even got shop rags. Which I still have, by the way.
Right.
So it was a good investment.
One of those things you mentioned, the fucking toilet paper. Dude, you bought a fucking, I don't know how many rolls we have, but it is the fucking thinnest toilet paper I have ever used in my life. I have to fucking 5 or 6 roll it to just wipe my ass so I don't get shit that doesn't go through and rip. If I want to blow my nose, I have to fold it about 10 times. It is like wiping your ass with a holy doily.
Well, okay. So let me explain this then. Because I usually like...
2-ply at least, man.
I like the...
This is like a 4th ply.
I'm thinking, what is the brand? Is it Quilted Northern or something like that? It's got like the little ridges in it.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
I like that, and I always get the expensive like Ultra Comfort, or I get it with like aloe to make sure it's like moisturize your butthole or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So, and that's what we had before that. But then we ran out of that, and I remember I bought that it's Scott's. It's Scott's. It's a shit you get at like you could use at like Target or whatever. Or any sort of public place.
This is like tracing paper.
Yeah. Well, I bought that because when I first went to Home Depot, it was just during the initial quarantine.
Wait, so this has been in the house for months?
Oh yeah. We've been on it for months. Yeah. So I found it shoved in the closet because I stocked up. Because anytime we would go out, I remember you bought.
Yeah, I'd go to 7-Eleven and get it.
Yeah, you get like little 4-packs, and that wasn't. I mean, it was better than this. But that was an impulse buy when I was at Home Depot. I was like, I've got to get this now. It's not going to be the best, but I don't know when there's going to be. This was like May or something. I was like, I don't know when there's going to be more toilet paper. What if this is all I got?
But the thing is, right now we have a rack for our toilet paper in the bathroom. And there's about 12 rolls on this rack of all the thinnest fucking tracing paper, toilet paper I've ever seen. And I am every time I have to wipe my ass, I am so worried that my fingers are just going to be full of shit.
Well, don't worry. Hey, if you got to use a little bit more, then don't worry. Because there's another...
surplus of it.
There's another
we got more.
Yes, we do got more. But I think it's Scott's as well. But it's like the knockoff Quilted Northern, so it'll be slightly better.
Oh my god!
So once we get through all of that, which will probably take us until January, then we can get real toilet paper again.
This is like I dread taking a shit here every day for the last week when I notice that shit. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, I figured we got to use it up.
And I didn't know it was in the closet. I thought you went and specifically bought this. I was like, why? We went from like 3-ply, like the thickest toilet paper you can buy, to like you take that and you split it like in 8s. Like you can see through it.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta tighten the old belt.
Oh my god!
Look, we got. Between the 12 that are in there, and there's another 24-pack in the closet. We got to get through this toilet paper.
No, we don't.
We have to get through it.
No, well, you can always mix in a roll like once in a while. We can't use fucking 12 in a row.
Listen,
my ass is gonna be raw.
Hey, this is good for you. This is a learning experience.
It's not.
You know, you got to put some calluses on the old butthole. Get a nice callus butthole so you're gonna be ready. Because what if the second wave comes And then we got to do lockdown again. You're gonna appreciate the fact that you got a calloused butthole from the cheap Scots.
No.
So then we got to go back to 7-Eleven toilet paper. You're gonna be like, oh, this is amazing.
Whatever, dude.
Most comfortable thing that I've rubbed on my ass
Whatever.
in a long time.
I'm just glad I haven't been eating a lot of chili and all that. Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's the gripe I have, because I can't believe you fucking bought that shit. I mean, it makes a little bit more sense, but I still don't approve. Like, I would have rather wiped my ass with a coffee filter, because I've done that before.
Yes. Well, see, that's the thing too. Like, the quarantine really like took me back to remember. Okay, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but years ago when we had another roommate here, and we were younger. We were still in our 20s.
Years ago, but we weren't younger.
No, it was same age. Crazy. That's the way science works sometimes. Anyway, we didn't have as much disposable income, and I remember that was a big thing. Especially you got 3 people in the same house.
The big shit kid.
The big shit kid, aka our toilet, was getting a lot of action. So toilet paper was something we'd go through a lot, and then it'd get expensive, especially if you're not making a lot of money. So I remember I would get stuff like I would go to the fucking Cobo Hall and steal the giant industrial roll off of that.
And that was thicker than this.
Did that thing lasted like a month. We had this giant wheel. It was like it looked like the size of a spare tire.
We didn't have like the holder, so it would just be sitting on the counter, and you would just pick it and put it around your arm and unravel it.
Dude, I'll never forget. Like, I remember I was downtown, because this was when I worked in the city, and I was downtown Detroit, and I remember I went out to get some drinks with people after work. And then at the back of my head, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm supposed to stop and get toilet paper. We're all out at home. So I took a piss, because I parked on the roof of Cobo. And I took a piss in the public bathroom there. And I was in the stall, and I seen the door, the little latch for the toilet paper was off. And I was like, this is brand new. They just loaded this. Whoever the janitor was didn't relatch it. So I was like, perfect.
He was probably still stocking up the rest of the stalls. Like, he just probably went to the janitor's closet to get more.
So
he's like, God damn it. Didn't I just put one in there?
So I was a little drunk, and it was cold out, and I had a jacket on. And so I tried to I smoothly just took it off the wheel, shoved it in my jacket, in my chest, and then zipped it up. And I walked out and washed my hands, and I made sure to just casually walk to the roof of the building to get to my car, and I was like, here we go, baby. We got toilet paper for a while. Saved me like $12.
But yeah, we were younger, and we had like that Step Brothers moment when you move out on your own, and there's certain shit you just don't think about, fucking supplying on, like when he uses the fucking rug.
Well, because before that, I remember we first moved in this house, probably before that moment was we ended up getting... We had these coffee filters. Now, we didn't drink coffee at the time. I didn't, especially.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee still to this day.
Yeah, but at the time we had these coffee filters from another roommate that I took over for, which that's a story in its own. But the coffee filters made it to the new house, and we were out of toilet paper. We were out of paper towel, because if you're in a bind, you take a sheet of paper towel, you can cut it into like thirds, and you could use that because it's thick enough. And I was like, the only thing I got available are these coffee filters. And they work. Little rough. You got to be careful, but they do work.
They do work.
In a pinch.
I would rather use those than the toilet paper we have currently.
Yeah, the Scots? You don't like the Scots?
No. I'm not a fan of the Scots right now.
It's very biodegradable.
The Scots 1/4 ply. Maybe 1/8. I'm not really sure.
Listen.
On the fraction.
There was a whole pallet of it at Home Depot, and I'm like, I need to get in on this now.
And it probably was untouched, because people would be like, I would rather use a sock.
I'm glad I only bought the one package, because at the time I was in the zone of like anywhere that I would go and I seen any sort of toilet paper similar product, even Kleenex. I remember I bought like 6 boxes of Kleenex at a Meijer. Because I was like,
where are those so I don't have to blow my nose with that damn toilet paper?
I think they're in the closet.
All right.
I bought a bunch of boxes. I bought little like individual packages, the ones you put in your pocket.
Oh, I need that. I need to find those somewhere.
Yeah. Well, we got them. So there you go. I stocked up, and that was one of them. That was toward the end of the panic where I was just like, this is not going to be great, but it's better than my own hand or
A sock.
a sock. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
I was just
again.
gonna start going in the yard and just fucking wiping my ass like on the floor like a dog. Or we have a bidet that we need to hook up.
We do have that.
So I
bidet.
wouldn't even need the fucking. I wouldn't even need that.
And we
paper.
need to fix the toilet seat anyway because it's busted off the hinge. The big shit kid is down for the count right now.
TKO.
Yeah, it's been knocked off. So it's been taking on so much action again recently.
Man. Oh shit. But I guess we'll move on to more of current topic. Well, I guess those were current topics.
Those are. I mean, it's still ongoing.
It was a little recap of last week.
I still don't. Okay, but here's my one gripe with your gripe. I don't think the step by step and the toilet paper comparison are equal.
Excuse me?
I don't think that they're equal complaints.
How? Because you think Step by Step is shit, and I take shits with that fucking toilet paper. And Step by Step is a fucking quality show. I'm in season 6. I have 1 season left to go. I think I might be done with season 6.
Oh God.
So you and all the other haters, okay, do me a favor. If you listen to this show and you also follow Melvin Troy on Twitch, go on his Twitch channel when he's live and raid him with fucking Step by Step.
No, we
Yes.
don't need to do
Yes,
that.
do that.
Last time it got brought up on stream, people were making the accurate comparison that it is a shitty version of Family Matters.
And that's not even a comparison because the real comparison is the Brady Bunch because Frank and Carol both had 3 kids like Mike and Carol, and they brought them together as step children and fucking stepsisters and shit.
Well, how does Cody fit in the mix though?
Cody's their fucking
Urkel?
no.
Oh.
Cody's just that formula. Like they always had a neighbor. I mean, the main concept.
Is he their Alice?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like
He
their
is their
living mate.
Alice. And then they brought in. Didn't they bring in a 7th kid
Did they bring in a 7th?
on the Brady Bunch?
Oh yeah, there was Cousin Oliver, but
Yeah.
that was for like a season.
So they brought in a fucking 7th kid on Step by Step named Lily. It was Frank and Carol's love child,
Oh,
and she's only there for a season and a half.
I didn't know that.
So go fuck yourself. And if anyone else compares it to Family Matters, you can go fuck yourself too.
I guess we touched a nerve.
Jesus Christ, man. Rich Helke for life.
Who the fuck is that?
He's like JT's best friend that dates Dana.
Oh God,
Go fuck yourself, bruh.
that's too much. That's too much. And I noticed, by the way, that they replaced Cody with Belky from Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
Halfway through the series.
It's Jean-Luc Reperou or some. I can't say.
Jean-Luc Picard.
No, well, his real last name is Picard, isn't it? Or it's Picard. Bronson?
No, Picard. That's the captain from Star Trek: Next Generation.
No, his real name. Fact check me. I think it's
Let me see.
It's Bronson like Ricard.
I'm gonna look up Belky from
His
Perfect
name's.
Strangers.
I'm telling you, it's very simple. It's
Let's see.
very similar. I can't even fucking speak today.
It's okay. I understand. Listen, you're telling me. It's Bronson Pinchot.
So it was close. Pinchard, Pinchot.
There's no R in it.
Whatever, dude. It was similar. But I knew his first name was Bronson.
That is good. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Brandon Call, baby. JT Lambert. Sasha Mitchell. Fucking Patrick Duffy.
Patrick Duffy.
Suzanne Summers.
Well, okay.
Christine Lakin.
Okay, now you lost me
Stacey
again.
Keaton.
Who the fuck is that?
They're all the people that play on the show. Fucking read the credits once in a while. Fucking A, man.
I don't make it that far. When I see any of their faces, they're
By the
dumb
way,
faces.
people out there, every time I have it on, he watches at least 10 minutes of it.
Because it's a hate watch.
Yeah, okay.
It's a hate watch.
It's not a hate watch.
It's the same way.
It's not a hate watch.
It's the same way that I hate the movie Twister, but I've seen it about 10 times.
You love a thumb of God. Or finger of
It's
God.
finger of God.
Whatever.
Thank you very much. It's an F5. Finger of God.
Whatever.
Thumb
Thumb of God, finger of God, whatever.
of God. It's
they're
a
all
terrible.
they're all phalanges of God.
One of these days we'll have to do an episode where we watch Twister.
I gotta
hate it.
I gotta be completely baked.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do that.
So
But I absolutely hate that movie so much. But there's nothing like a good hate watch. Sometimes you wanna you like okay. So here's something. When Howard Stern was on the regular radio before he went to satellite, there was, the average viewer that was a big fan, or listener, I should say, that was a big fan would listen to like an hour and a half a day, and the most common reason as to why is I want to hear what he says next. The other group that hated him would listen to like 2 to 3 hours a day, and their biggest reason why would be I want to see what he's going to say next. And it's the same thing. People like a good hate listen and hate watch.
You want to see what Step by Step says next.
Well, I want to see. Yes, I want to see how much it's going to anger me.
Okay,
but I hate it.
Check and mate. You do not hate it.
It's like the movie The Room. People don't watch The Room because it's a great feature film. It's because it's so terrible.
It's nothing like The Room. All right?
It's very similar.
No,
if you were to make The Room into a sitcom, you got Step by Step.
No, it isn't. It's completely false.
It's dead on.
It's completely false.
I want fucking what's his name? The fucking
Patrick Duffy?
No,
Tommy Wiseau?
Who played him? Who was that?
James Franco?
James Franco. I want James Franco to make a movie, a sequel to The Disaster Artist called The Step by Step's a Shitty Show Artist. Whatever. You figure it out. But I want it to be.
That was the worst movie pitch I've ever heard. And by the way, Patrick Duffy has talked to Suzanne Summers. Why can't I say her name? I can't fucking talk today. Suzanne Summers about bringing Step by Step back to Netflix.
How about
bam?
How about
like a Fuller House? It could be Stepper by Stepper.
Nobody's wanting that. Nobody wants. Everyone would rather have Jaleel White and Carl Winslow back for a
Carl
Family
Winslow's
Matters.
dead.
Is he dead?
I think so.
I know Uncle Phil's dead, but I don't know.
I think Carl Winslow is too.
Oh man, Carl, he was my favorite.
You don't even know his real name. You call him Carl Winslow.
Well, that's all he needs to be.
But you know Urkel's name.
Yeah, Jaleel White. It's Reginald Vale Johnson.
Yeah.
Reginald Vale Johnson. He's, but to be honest, by the way, he looks like a black version of my stepdad. It's like dead on. If you met him before, you would be like, "Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right."
Well, Moose used to call me the White Eddie Winslow.
I could see that. At least you're not Waldo.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
That's.
Speaking of Waldo, I want to get into our sponsorship real quick.
Yes.
Today's episode is brought to us by Lars and Associates Financial.
Oh, okay.
Having problems saving money? Mm-hmm. Don't know what to invest in? Give your money to Lars. Do you know a Lars you can't trust? Exactly. Give your money to Lars. He will invest in it. He will invest in something. You may get your money back. You may get more money than you put in. Who the fuck knows? Lars and Associates does what with your money? Check out inlarswetrust.com. Once again, that's inlarswetrust.com.
I like their pitch. Of like, hey, we might be able to do a good job for you. We might not.
Yeah.
We may not. We may do a terrible job for you. You know, I've heard.
I mean, it's trustworthy.
From what I heard about Lars, they're very big on.
It's just one guy.
They're really
and his associates.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Him and his associates. They're known for what they like to call the body system. So, yeah, they really.
Are you sure it's not the buddy system?
No, it's the body system.
The buddy system?
It's yeah.
Okay.
Lars is known for the body system.
The buddy system.
I mean, tomato.
Don't lose your buddy. Don't lose your body. But yeah, he takes your money and who knows what he does with it. You might get it back, you might not. I don't, whatever.
Hey, wait. Hey, listen, you put your money in here. Listen, put it in this investment and it's gone. And it's gone.
Wait, here's $5 back.
Oh, okay. There's $5. You want to reinvest it? And it's gone. It's gone.
InLarsWeTrust.com. But let me ask you something.
Yes. Ask away.
What was your in school, right?
Okay.
When you're in a classroom, what was your least favorite part of being in the classroom?
Being in the classroom?
Yeah, being in class. What was your least favorite part?
My least favorite.
Like when the teacher's lecturing. What's your least favorite part?
other than just being there, like, because a lot of times I would just take a nap.
Right.
So
I'm trying to coach you into the right answer, but
okay, gotcha.
You know.
So my least favorite part, if I was in class, if taking out the reason to not be there,
Right.
of course, taking out the thing of maybe if I'm around people I just don't like, would be probably especially a lecture was usually like in science where I had to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because I had to kind of like, because especially if they're a bad lecture, like if you can put on a good, I'll call performance of a lecture, I'll remember it and I don't have to read the book. I don't got to do anything.
Okay.
But the worst is when you drone on, when the subject, you can't figure out a way to make the subject matter engaging. For me, then but I have to pay attention because I know I have to do some sort of quiz or a test or to be able to do this homework assignment. That was the worst because now I'm forced to pay attention to what I could consider a terrible performance. It's like making sure you have to watch a shitty movie so you can accomplish whatever, okay, perfect example. We've all been there where we played a video game and they got to teach you the mechanics of the game.
Yeah, the tutorial at the beginning.
But the tutorial drags on and is super irritating. It's like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Red Dead at the beginning.
Red Dead's beginning drags on so long. You'll be there for 3 hours, and it's like, you could have taught me how to do this in 5 minutes. Like, I get you're setting a story and everything, but I just want to start the game. And it takes me this whole thing where I got to survive a literal winter before I can actually play the game and be free to do what I want. So that's what I hated in school, was any sort in a lecture was anything like that would just drag on, because otherwise I would rather just take a nap and then look at the book later and try to figure it out.
Okay, so that's your answer, but it's the wrong answer that I was looking for.
Okay.
Well, so
your opinion is wrong.
Yes, your opinion is way wrong. So mine, the answer I was looking for was, kind of if you're not paying attention, or even if you are paying attention, if the teacher is like, Melvin, what's the answer? And they call on you, right?
Right.
In front of the class. Teachers can't do that anymore.
Really?
In certain districts.
Really?
Yeah. So one of my friends, she is a teacher, and I had asked her, all the kids are going back to school, and they're trying this virtual thing.
Right.
So I asked her, I go, how do you say, Jeffrey, what's the answer to number 4,
Yeah.
And she goes, well, we can't do that anymore. And I go, what do you mean? She goes, you can't individually pick out a student to answer a question.
But that's the way you can catch them to make sure they're paying attention. Oh, they shut the fuck up because they're talking to somebody.
So what they have to do now is, who would like to answer the question? The kid has to raise their hand so they can call on them. This prevents, quotation marks, anxiety. She's an elementary school teacher.
You're supposed to have anxiety in school. It's a given. Because you get over the anxiety. You go in, when you go to school, I'll never forget, because I started in daycare because my parents got divorced and my mom worked or whatever. But and it was good to start there when I was like 4. I went to daycare for a little bit, and then I went to preschool, and you get anxiety. I'll never forget the first day I got dropped off, my mom left, I fucking cried. I didn't know what to do. A lot of kids do that.
Yeah.
Kids do it all the time. You end up crying, you're panicked, and then eventually you realize, okay, this isn't so bad.
Right.
I can do this now. And then like a month later, I'm fucking like, hey, let me go, Mom. I'm just going to go talk to the other kids. So I'll see you this afternoon. Okay.
Right. And the thing is, too, is if this was happening when we were in school, I would just sleep.
Yeah.
Or, like, you can't call me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to chill.
Like, how many times were we in Verlindy's class in high school? And I remember I was sitting there with a fucking earphone in my ear. And then she would be like, how are you even paying attention with that? And I'm like, I don't know. But that's the thing. There's no anxiety, because there would be times I get called out. They would be like, hey, what's the answer to this? And I'd be like, you got me. I don't know. They're like, oh, that means you should be paying attention. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I should be paying attention.
There's a complete different anxiety level of getting in front of the class and doing like a speech, or just sitting at your desk and being called on like, what's fucking X plus 7 equals 12. Like, like the anxiety levels are completely different. Like, it makes no sense to me that you can't fucking call on a kid to answer a question if they don't volunteer that they want to answer that question first.
There was a thing when I took any sort of foreign language class that was it. That was inevitable. And I remember in college, you had to contribute. I remember I had when I took Spanish courses in college and in high school, you had to contribute at least once or twice per class. You had to be able to contribute something. So you get a little panic to be able, I have to be able to translate this.
La saga dough. It means backpack.
Okay. Yeah, so I would sit there and I get a little anxiety, but then because I'm trying to fit it in because other people are trying to fit it in, and it creates this atmosphere of collaboration. But it also, that little anxiety is what pushes you forward in order to do that, and you want to learn the words because then if you get called on, and then you want to learn more. Because sometimes you don't get the easy options of La Sacado or Los Zapatos or no Corte de Baño. You don't get that. You gotta fucking figure out how to say today's date and would you like some salt on your fish?
Yeah, and so no, thank you. And sometimes I remember being in class and. You would have your roster of your class, and you would know where you were in the alphabet. You were very high in the alphabet. I'm very low on the alphabet. So you kind of can, like, if there was like a project and you had to present, you could kind of, sometimes you would know which day you would have to present, like if it was over multiple days, right? Yeah. Or, they would take volunteers first or whatever. Now I think you have to give them that, like, you're going this day. Like, you can't just be like one of the girls that I was talking to, she said one of her teachers had a randomizer. And, like, you would just put, like, he would have the class listed 1 to 30, and he would have a randomizer that he would push on the computer or his phone or whatever, and it would give a certain number, and you had to go.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's fair.
it is.
I mean, here's the thing about this anxiety bullshit. It's like, you're always going to have anxiety in life.
Like, what are you going to do on a job interview?
Exactly. Job interviews. How about a fucking sales call, which is a pretty big profession a lot of people get into.
You're like...
you have to fucking go, and then it's not just as like a fucking door-to-door salesman, but if you're in consulting, if you work in any sort of finance, if you work in anything, you have to give presentations. And yes, you're going to have anxiety, but what that does is you find ways to work around it, you learn to get comfortable doing it, and then eventually you grow as a person and aren't just incubated as a fetus at the age of 40.
Right. And you're not, like, on a job interview saying, being asked, tell me some of your skills. Sir, with all due respect, I don't feel like answering that question right now. I'm getting a little anxious. Can we go to another question? I've written these ones down.
Yeah.
What is your name? Bobby Caboose. All right. I hope I got the job, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Like, you got to be willing to be ready to go and in a moment's notice. And it would, like I said, for me, I just wanted to be left alone in school. So I know I've mentioned this a lot when this subject comes up, where I just want to be. So what I would do is I would know just enough to where if you call on me all the way through college, if you were to randomly call on me, I could give you the answer.
Right.
And then I can continue to pay half attention.
And even with, like, presentations and shit, I would always try to volunteer to go first, because if you go to first, A, you're getting it out of the way.
Yeah.
B, there's no one to compare to.
Right.
So, like, you can get a much better grade going first, because there's, like, my project could be shit, but you haven't seen anyone else's. So, maybe you get a better grade.
Right.
But then, like, fucking Elizabeth over here, the fucking goody two-shoe suck-up fucking bitch, she has a fucking excellent presentation right after you, and she got an A+, but maybe you got an A- because there was no one to compare to, and yours was dog shit compared to hers.
The worst was to go last, because now you're being compared to everyone else's. I always like to go, like, third, where I can kind of, like, get, like, a vibe.
Like a little gauge?
Yeah, get a gauge and, like, okay, what's acceptable, what's not, and then go. But even then, and then even during that time, I have anxiety. I remember, I'll never forget when I worked in finance, having to make those initial, like, calls to clients and stuff. You get so panicked and you get, like, so jazzed. 6 months later, I'm like, I need your tax documents. Please just give me the. I went from, oh my God, this guy, he says you won't give me his divorce decree. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do.
Right. To,
like, sir, I need the decree. I need all the pages. I don't know what your ex-wife has access to.
Like, I need the decree.
Yes. Like, you just get over that. Now, if I were to go into a job like that and I tell my boss, like, I'm sorry, I don't like it when clients give me pushback on things that I'm asking for, so I'm just not going to ask them.
Yeah.
So I think we should be fine, right? You should be able to run this multi-billion-dollar business still. I think that's a reasonable expectation. No, you need anxiety in life. You need to be afraid in life. You need to be. The world is a tough, scary, and dangerous and mean place.
The world starts at the end of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Bam!
Exactly.
Mic fucking dropped.
Learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where you're going to succeed.
But all the, I couldn't believe when she told me this. I was like, wait, you can't just be like, hey, like, because that's what I was like, she goes, there's, she'll see kids like with Xbox controllers in their hand. And like their software, I'm not sure if they use like Zoom or whatever, but she can individually go onto their screen so like they see each other, like, and they don't see the rest of the class. And she'll be like, what's that in your hand? What are you working on?
Yeah.
And that's what she can ask, what are you working on?
Yeah.
But she,
Wow. What a way to you know what? Fine. I say this.
And this is in Oakland County.
I say great. Let them be stupid. Let these kids be dumb. Let them play Xbox all day, because you know what it's going to do? It's going to make it easier for those that want to succeed. They're going to have all they have to do is actually work for it. They're just going to have to work slightly harder than the people that are playing Xbox while they're in school. That's all they're going to have to do. It's going to make it real easy. It's going to make it real nice and easy down the road. And then they can cry about it later of, why don't I have the success that I want in life? Well, maybe it's because you wanted to fucking play Call of Duty for 7 hours instead of, learning how to do, personal accounting.
Professional gaming, brah. Esports.
Hey, then fucking get good and do that. But that's another thing. It's like not everybody can be a star player on FaZe Clan. That's not gonna. Whatever.
Face off.
Whatever. Yeah. It just. I don't know. I just think it's. I hate that people have been so coddled, and I know every generation says that. I know my parents have probably said it about my generation and theirs before them and so on. But it is getting like to the point of like you're not allowed to give someone anxiety because they're not performing to the standard that they should be at. Like, well, okay, I don't understand.
A perfect example. I had this something. I think it wasn't Facebook. I think it was on Instagram. Someone had posted like, and it I don't know who posted it. It wasn't anyone I knew. It was like one of those like Barstool posts or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a couple years ago, and someone posted like their kid. It was one of those tests. I believe it was one of those tests where you get maybe like 5 minutes to do it, like those math like kind of
like a pop quiz type thing.
See where you're at with multiplication tables or whatever. Whatever. We've all had them. And this kid literally like did like 12 of the 100 questions, and the rest of it was blank. And the teacher wrote absolutely pathetic on the paper. Well, the mom or dad took a picture of it, put it on Instagram, and was like, I can't believe the teacher would say this to my son and all this shit. And all the comments are like, this is absolutely ridiculous. That she should have, get fired. We should hang her. All this fucking shit, right? So I comment on there. I go, maybe your child isn't the little fucking angel that you think it is. Maybe he was just sitting there and not trying. And, maybe he didn't put any effort in it. Yeah. Maybe he is fucking absolutely pathetic. Maybe he was sleeping the whole fucking time. Maybe he didn't care. Why don't you get my mom would always get the side, like the teacher's side of the story versus my side of the story. Because, of course, I'm going to not want to get in trouble. So I could possibly lie. And maybe the teacher is like, yeah, he kind of just sat there with his head down and didn't do anything. Like, why is it always like a finger pointing, like, and a fucking witch hunt on people that could possibly be telling the truth?
And it's always a thing of like you got to be able to, like, I get the idea of like if you're particularly being picked on, but there's a lot of times like, okay, I got a story for you, kind of similar to this. So I remember we were in junior high, probably about 8th grade, and I don't know if they do that anymore, but I know when we were in school, they would do a thing where like we'd have homework, and then we would check the homework in class.
Yeah.
Like the teacher would go through the answers, and you trade papers with someone and so on. So I always like to see people's reaction to the like. I knew some of the answers. I'd answer most of them right, but then I'd like kind of sacrifice a couple answers for like a joke.
Yeah.
Where it would be like, oh, who invented the light bulb? And I'll put like Chef Boyardee.
Right.
And then then I'd see somebody would be like checking my paper, and I'd look at their face, and all of a sudden they go and like, Chef Boyardee checked it, and they would look at me. They would look at me and they're like, what? And I'm like, I thought it was the right answer. I don't know. So it was kind of like a joke. And then I remember there was this one assignment in particular that I just kamikazed, where I was like, I don't need this.
Yeah.
So I just wrote all bullshit answers of like, where does the transformation of water water vapor into rain happen or something? What part of the atmosphere? And I put like Texas or some shit like that. I just put a bunch of shit, I put the answer was like, I remember like a couple of the answers was like Bill Cosby or John Goodman or just random shit like that.
Who raped a bunch of chicks?
Yeah.
Got that one right.
Yeah. So what ended up happening is the teacher ended up like getting a hold of that assignment after it was graded, because afterwards they got to collect it.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting like a 0 on it, but I was like, whatever, I don't care. She mailed it to my parents with a letter saying like, I know he knows the answers to this. I don't know why he's self-sabotaging, and it's this whole thing.
We need to get him counseling.
And my parents, I remember I was a little like panicked of like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. And I just was honest with my parents. I was like, listen, I was making a joke, and maybe I should have probably changed those answers, and that was it. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I remember at the time, this was a big learning experience for me getting in trouble with my parents was like, what's going to be better? Do I try to make up a lie and try to turn this into like a victim thing for me? And so that I'm innocent and or do I just own up to it and say, well played, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me good. I was fucking around when I shouldn't have been fucking around, and that's what I did. I came clean. And you know what? That was a very important lesson, because then I moved through life, and every time I've been caught, I know we talked about it on the job podcast where like one time I had the beer job. I was supposed to do a route on a holiday weekend, and I completely just overslept.
Right.
They called me on the Monday, they're like, hey, or the Tuesday, they were like, hey, Sam's Club said you never went there. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, they said there was no one there. I was like, oh, I thought I was there. And then they were like, well, who'd you talk to? And I was like, you got me. I didn't go. You're right.
With my job now, it's like it's all about like integrity. Like they already know if you fuck something up, so you just own it. You're like, yep, I did do that. I was trying to get off early, whatever. And I was trying to get the shit done, and I fucked up.
And people respect that.
It won't happen again.
Now, if I would have turned that scenario into like, oh, well, somebody else wrote that in, and I'm being persecuted, and this, that, and the other, I would have never grown as a person. It probably would have caused way more trouble in advance. Thank God there wasn't social media back then, because then, I don't know if my parents would have went rogue and tried to post that on Instagram or some shit. But it's like, sometimes you need someone to say, what you did here is pathetic.
Yeah.
Fucking, smarten up next time. You need to have that little jolt of like, ooh, yeah, you got me. You got me good.
Right. And people were commenting on my comment saying, well, what if this was your kid? Well, if it was my kid, I would talk to the teacher and see what happened. Was he actually trying to do his work? Was he just sitting there? Was he talking to somebody else? What the fuck was going on? And then I would ask, my son or daughter, be like, hey, I would start with them, what happened? Well, blah, 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 I was trying. And I talked to the teacher, and if he legit was trying, then I would have been like, yeah, that's... maybe there's an issue. But if he was just slacking off or just fucking goofing off or some shit, being a class clown,
There's two sides to every story, and usually the truth falls in the middle.
Right.
And that's what you got to be able to... You can't, you can't do... And my parents were at least wise enough. They didn't take everything I said. They took everything I said with a grain of salt, and it's trust but verify.
Right.
And that's all you got to do before you go and fucking start... I don't know. I think... Should the teacher have said that the kid was pathetic? Probably not. It might have been a little harsh, maybe. But at the same time, why couldn't you do it? If every other student can do this and you can't, is there a problem? Is there something we should be solving?
Right.
Like, what's going on here? Were there other issues where the kid just didn't do his shit, like you mentioned? Like, yeah,
Like, just to jump all over the teacher like that, I'm like, man, like, and we've talked about maybe on the job podcast or another one that, like, we didn't give a fuck in school.
No.
Like, we gave the teachers so hard a time.
Oh, God, yeah.
But, that's
Tortured them.
the student's job.
Yeah. And now that's the thing. I believe wholeheartedly that the mentality of torturing your teachers has not gone away, but now the ammo has been taken back. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had teachers that were dicks, principals that were dicks, and you were like, yeah, fuck them. But at the same time, we still had it was a good 50-50 split on what you could get away with versus what would happen.
But it was also like, okay, me and you know to, like, fuck them.
Yeah.
Maybe our group of friends, fuck them. The whole fucking world doesn't have to know.
Right.
Nowadays, you put one post on social media, the whole school and the whole fucking world knows.
Right.
So, you might have to dial the ammo back down a little bit.
Yeah.
And just keep it, you don't have to post everything on fucking social media.
You need to be challenged, and sometimes you're challenged unfairly, but you need to be challenged in life. And that's just, life isn't fair. It's never going to be fair.
And that's the Full House growing moment of the day.
Yes. We're going to sit down.
That's the moral.
I'm going to get down on one knee like Danny Tanner. And I'm going to say to this kid, I'm like, listen, you really are pathetic. And the world...
You're one lonely piece of shit.
Yeah. And thank God your parents put that out there to let the whole world know that you're pathetic. And that's what your teacher thinks you're pathetic. And that's an authority figure.
Yeah.
So
all you're going to do is you're going to work for Uber Eats for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Making dog shit. And I don't want to be seen with you in public anymore.
Yeah. That's the response.
So why don't you take 5 times 5 and shove it up your ass and go fuck yourself, because you're not getting an allowance anymore. And as of right now, you are evicted from this house.
Yes. Just get out. Just you pack your bags.
Go live with the trolls.
If I see my kids come back with homework assignments like that, I'd be like, just pack it up. Get out. Go out on the streets. You don't belong in this house anymore.
Yeah. You're going to have to go... You're going to have to go live in a halfway house for children.
Yes. Get out of here. You go into the fucking foster system.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna, and you don't think you're gonna come back here, because once you leave, I'm burning this house down. You've done this. You did this to you.
You're absolutely fucking pathetic. Oh shit!
It took a dark turn.
It did.
I'm gonna commit arson to this house because you can't do your own homework.
You don't know your fucking times tables? How old are you? 7?
You know what? God damn it! I'm picking up a heroin habit. You can't even fucking. I'm booting up Black Tower heroin now that you can't do your homework assignment.
I'm shooting up heroin and writing in cursive, so you can't read anything. You stupid son of a bitch. Have fun on your iPad when it's all in cursive.
Yeah, tell your teacher I said that too. Like, that's what the parents should have done.
Yeah.
Was like write up this letter to this kid and be like, "This is what I'm. Let your teacher know this is what I'm doing." And they're like, "Oh, you're not that pathetic. I guess we could dial it back. I guess I could dial back my response. I don't want your parents to burn down your house and start booting up Black Tower heroin.
Instead of the teacher getting fired, social services end up at your house for a pathetic kid.
The kid's like, I don't want to get involved. Well, it's like, well, then you need to smarten up.
Timmy, you did this. You did this to me. As you're shooting up.
All you had to do was do your homework. Now our whole life is ruined. Thank you.
I just quit my job, Timmy. Because I have to focus on you learning your goddamn times tables.
I don't have time for this shit. I need to suck dick for crack.
And you need to suck dick to know what 6 times 7 is. So we're both going to be sucking dick. Oh
God.
Basketball Diaries. Woo.
Oh, God. All right. Well, that
took quite the turn. Oh, wow.
Well, I think that about
Is there anything else that we have to cover today?
I think we covered everything. I think we really got to the bottom of a lot of major issues today.
I think we might be great parents. Not together. Not like we're not,
Yeah, it's
partnered
not-
up. But
Yeah, my two dads. What was that show? Was
it
it
was my two.
Oh, was
dads.
it? Yeah.
Yes. And it was the fucking chick from Step by Step was in it.
God damn it! Now it all comes back to that. You accuse me of looping everything to the Samoa Joe project, and it really all loops back to Step by Step. That's what it really does.
We're slicing Samoa Joe DNA with Lambert and Foster DNA, and we're making Step by Step for years. JT Lambert's coming back after getting almost shot in the head. True story. Look it up.
Oh yeah, I did see that article on Facebook.
But yeah, I guess we'll be on Twitch.
Yes,
that'll be coming up.
Yeah,
so.
that is coming up. We did a little tease early on. I was going to get into that, but yes, I think Twitch.tv. Yes, it's a .tv domain. Twitch.tv/Melvin Troy with a 0 in it, because some fucking bastard took the one with the O. But yeah, we'll be doing that. I think on Mondays.
Yeah, we'll be mega powering.
At least this Monday. We'll see how
we'll see how it goes.
How the schedule goes. But yeah, I think that'll be a new thing that we're gonna be doing. And of course, I stream on there throughout the week. I know my schedule's kind of changed. I know Mondays and Fridays for sure. And then there's going to be a third day somewhere in the middle of the week there as well. So there's a Twitch has instituted this new thing, by the way. It has like a calendar section, so I can put up the entire schedule. So just check that out.
Wow. If you ever need any help with your money, call up Lars.
Yes.
You may get it back.
Yeah.
You may not.
You're part of the body system.
Yeah, the buddy system. But until next time, what you gonna do, brother? When the 64-bit legends, I don't know the rest, run wild on you.